All right, so good morning, everybody. This first site that we're visiting now, this is basically in Hope and Hope Estate. On this area, there are 3 locations that we have done allocations, and we are doing infrastructure work. We have about 7 lots that it's divided into, about $1.6 billion investment. If you notice the one in front where it is normally called with the old railway line, that portion, one portion could not have been done because they found run into a delay. Someone produced a document claiming it's a lease. So we're currently engaging that person and to have a move ahead in terms of the infrastructure work for that portion. Here at the back, which is closer to the office of the Hope Estate, work is ongoing. So by and large, overall, it's about 50% they're at, and they're all working for a December 15th completion or timeline. These areas have allocations already, and the other area, the third that I'm referring to, is out on the public road where near to the Hope Secondary School. That areas, that portion, the infrastructure work is being put in place because there are some additional plans for that area. We have not allocated that portion. It is intended to, we're looking at some infrastructure buildings in terms of houses, etc., for that area. So we're finalizing what we're doing on the portion, but we have not allocated. These 2 areas that I referred to have been allocated. In terms of the 3 portions, is about 400 lots that we're referring to. So we're pleased about this because this is an area, the matter that we met actually. And I'm pleased that we're moving to a point where we can have it resolved. Persons were allocated before and then never had access to any infrastructure work. So this is something we're rectifying, and I must show appreciation to the Hope Estate, who has been working with us too and along the path of ensuring that we have access to the area. Right now there's no weather delays, so the contractors who are all behind me are pushing ahead, and they have a commitment to be completed by December 15th. Just to give you an idea what's happening, for example, this year alone, we have allocated about 5,000 lots on East Coast. Here being one, this area here, well, it's a 2022 allocation. So that's about 1,100 lots we have here. This area alone, this investment, I'm sure for the media that's driving in, you want to know where you're going. You want to envisage that you have this massive infrastructure that is happening here. We have about 6 lots that is under construction, $4 billion being invested. In the 3 years alone, we have allocated about 10,000 lots on the East Coast of Demerara. That will include here, because this is on 2022 allocations. So we're hoping to close the year, at least another 1,000 we'll be allocating for East Coast. There's some other areas we're working on. So that's where the magnitude of work is now. Contractors has absolutely no excuse right now for delays, saving except those that are out of their parameter. For example, one of the lot here, we will know that there were some issues with access in terms of farmers for that persons who were farming from enterprise. So that person has a legitimate explanation in terms of the delay. But the others absolutely nothing to do in terms of weather, and they ought to be, working day and night. The reason why I'm doing these visits too is I'm trying to implore on them. The earlier they finish, or by the time they finish for this year, it's better for them, because we have, if you think the amount of work we have this year was a lot, wait till you see next year, because you realize the amount of allocations that we're doing. I mean, by the time we want to close this year doing at least 10,000 allocations on the calendar year of 2023. So you have to have infrastructure work to match that. So it's a lot of work available for contractors, and that's why For those who, once they perform well, they will get more work. Obviously, they will get more than some in terms of, these are the things we take into consideration, that the evaluators that it takes into consideration when they're evaluating outstanding work by contractors. So what until you come here, even sometimes I'm overwhelmed when I come on the project site, because not until you come here, you'll see, and you're going to some others now, you'll realize the volume of work we have ongoing and the amount of projects that we have ongoing to give for construction sites, new housing area for persons who have been allocated. And that is why I feel strongly that I don't think there's that level of total appreciation of government housing program. And housing program in the sense of both housing construction and the allocation of lots, the infrastructure for those lots. Because if persons come and they see what we have ongoing, we did East Bank I think 2 months ago, so I took you to most of the ongoing projects on East Bank. A similar scenario here. In another 2 years, East Coast is going to be mirroring East Bank, because to access on the inner part of the land, you won't have to necessarily drive in from the train line or the main road. We'll have another connecting road that goes all the way to Falls and more. So that is the long-term plan, connects you all the way to Arbibaka Road. So you can have, that can become the front. Even now, when you go to the next project site, you'll see what we're talking about. So we're going a lot inwards, and that is what's happening for other areas. Right now, in fact, the planning department is working on a design for a new area that we'll have to do allocations for the rest of this year. There's sometime within the next, they're going to finish the plan by next week, and then we want to do that within the next 3 weeks for a number of persons. So we're responding, and there's a lot of commitment here, the expenses that government is committed to ensure that we have home ownership. Of course, housing is competing with other sectors. And we're not even talking about the road networking infrastructure. So, for example, yesterday, Cabinet granted its no objection to the other portion on the Eccles main road in terms of the industrial road. So you'll recall we did from the roundabout to somewhere by Windsor Junction. So we're going to be doing next the Windsor Junction to the public road. That will be coming on the housing. We did our no objection yesterday. And then in the new week, you'll see us addressing, because the contracts have already been, they're doing the signing now, the extension for the 4-lane from Diamond, which is, the normal Diamond that comes out to Busby Dam. That is obviously on the housing too. So again, and these are all expected to be done. We're doing this now. We're going to be pushing them to be able to complete by the year end next year. The 4-lane that you have currently now, where a lot of persons are waiting or anticipating the opening. So that is why as of last Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, we closed the access road at Mocha and Red Road. That is to allow them to be able to complete their work quickly. The site at Mocha is going to be completed by this month, the 17th, a week or a week and a half from now. And then we have the Red Road portion. They're going to complete, but we need an extra week for basically, curing. So in essence, all works on the 4-lane from Eccles to Diamond, except there's just the completion, the connecting of lots 2 to 3, for example, and lots 3 to 4. The road will be ready for opening by the end of the month. smell of the with the boarding. And then there are the two other blocks that they will be putting the poles in before the month is finished. Those persons will have access to here. As it is right now, persons have access. The poles is in, so they will call persons to show through central housing. They will announce, and the persons will start seeing their lots. So this is a small development, but what you see before me here now, come here a year from now, is different. You'll see what we came from enterprise. All right. So that is what is going on here, and it's a stretch going all the way. It's just this transcending communities. So I just wanted you to get an idea of the development that we have that is happening, and so we'll have a lot of movement. So this between 1, 2, 3, that is Lusignan, Two Friends, Good Hope. That's we talking about 4,000 lots alone in this short stretch. Where we are now is the Success area. You recall, actually that's very early when we became minister. That was one of the first things that confronted us in terms of the squatting issue. A lot of persons used the period during that electoral period, the transition, to start to make hay basically unsupervised. And you recall when we met those persons, we met the persons who were squatting, we told them to desist. This area at that time, the land was still under basically Nisil Gaisuko, because you recall in the last government, Gaisuko was transferred under the purview of Nisil. And we didn't have control of the land, but together, collaboratively, we had issues of we being able to police the area so that you don't prevent further squatting. We did a lot of breakages. It was in the news. In fact, I think it was reported at the UN level, because squatting was illegal and persons were occupying the portion. Then what we did, we subsequently, because of Gaisuko's policy, we're looking at their strategic plan, and as I just explained at the enterprise, this area was one that is transferred to CHPA on behalf of the government of Guyana for a housing program. And we then had a further engagement with those persons who were occupying. So we got the back here cleared in terms, well, it was sugarcane land basically you were seeing, and we got those buildings removed. When you were coming in, you'd notice there are still a few in front here. But I'm particularly pleased at where we are now, and this will give you an example. Just take a shot or a picture of what it looks like in front when you have persons who are occupying without any regulation, without any alignment, etc. Versus when you have an area that is neatly laid out and being done in a procedural way. We have about 27 persons there that we have addressed subsequently, and they will all be relocated to a block that is behind me. This is in the very Success, because that front portion for Success is part of our housing development, as I mentioned at another interview. So we'll get to show you where it is now. But as it is right now, you see a lot of the work has already been completed. Overall, the area is about 60%. And so what you see in front there will not remain. As soon as we have access to the other block, all those persons have to be removed immediately, and as well as we're doing the infrastructure work. But it will not prevent addressing here in terms of allocation. So this area is catering for about 752 lots. Now, parallel to Success is another area, a sought after area, Ressouvenir. Ressouvenir has already been allocated. And what if I tell you that, actually, sorry, one correction, Success is about 840 lots. Ressouvenir is 752 lots. And what if I tell you we've maxed out Ressouvenir? You cannot, I can't. I was looking out during the week. We can't find any lot that is unallocated here. So that entire area is already maxed out, and those persons obviously are waiting for the infrastructure work to access. So the infrastructure work is ongoing, and we're expecting before the year is finished for the infrastructure as well as the poles to go in, so that we can show persons their lot. So by the end of the year, that area will be ready for access. Both areas, because how we've done the tendering, We've done it in terms of lots for both areas. So both areas alone, we're talking about $4.4 billion on these, and dividing it about six lots. And so, as I said, I'm particularly pleased here. The transformation, knowing when we took over, when we got into office, what we were confronted with. You know, you had drone shots then, and you will see pockets of persons squatting. We've been able to address that. So don't be fooled by what you see here. That's just a drainage canal that they haven't cleared. But we'll go behind there and you'll see further works. There are the 2 blocks continuing. So this area is 6 blocks in total. Yeah, so this portion we're speaking about, this is Ressouvenir. 752 lots, all allocated. So these persons are waiting. We're gonna start as early as this actually was completed, but the bush restarted to grow. So we'll start the pause next week to finish this block. And so by sometime in December, most of this area will be shown. There's just one portion in the front that you notice, and we deal just because we're addressing the front with success, we'll address them the same way.